There will be obstacles, there will be doubters, there will be mistakes.
But with hard work, there are no limits. Michael Phelps.
Winning is not everything, but making the effort to win is. Vince Lombardi.
What you are thinking, what shape your mind is in, is what makes the biggest difference of all. Willie Mays.
Good morning. My name is Sam Hyde, and I'm a sixth form day student from West Hartford, Connecticut. Cross country, swim, and track. Everybody's favorite sports, right? You know, the ones where you willingly put yourself through pain for what feels like hours, just to drop a few seconds off your time, where your only rewards are shin splints and a banana. Yeah, those ones. My close friends and family, especially the ones who know how big of a football, basketball, and baseball fan I am, often ask why I don't play one of those sports instead. And it's a fair question. I love watching them, talking about them, even playing them. But for some reason, I've just always stuck to running and swimming. So when I'm asked that question, I generally don't have a great answer. I usually end up responding with something quick and easy. Something like, I'm just not that coordinated, or it's too late to start, or I'm just better at other things. And sure, there's some truth to all that. But if I'm being honest, those aren't the reasons I've stuck to doing these sports. The real reason I haven't dropped cross country, or swim, or track is, now hear me out, maybe running and swimming are actually fun. Trust me, I know what that sounds like. Most people don't use the word fun to describe something that is, by definition, painful. And yeah, I get it. There's nothing glamorous about sprinting up hills with your lungs on fire, or swimming set after set with your arms barely moving by the end. The kind of stuff that we do in season isn't the kind of fun you can appreciate right away. It's the kind of fun that's buried under exhaustion, sore legs, tired arms, long workouts, and nerve-wracking meets. It's not easy. But there's something about the challenge itself, something about showing up, pushing through, and knowing that you gave it your all that makes it meaningful, and yeah, kind of fun. Now that brings me to a message that I've been told thousands and thousands of times since I was little. A message from my dad. Have fun and try your hardest. It's a simple message, but it's stuck with me. For as long as I can remember, he has said it to me every time I head out the door for school or right before any of my meets or races. If he's traveling, he'll text it to me. I don't often respond. In fact, I usually don't, but I appreciate it. His message is always there for me like a supportive reminder, a little nudge saying, hey, whatever you're about to do, make it count, but don't forget to enjoy it too. And over time, I've come to realize how valuable that message truly is. In a world that is constantly telling us to push harder, be better, grind more, it's easy to feel like effort and enjoyment are opposites, but they're not. You should be able to strike a balance between both aspects in your life. Because if you're not having at least a little fun, if you're not finding some kind of meaning or joy in the process, then what's the point? And the sports I do now, as odd as it may seem to some, are where I feel that balance most clearly. Although they are physically demanding and mentally draining, they also remind me that I'm alive, that I'm growing, and that I'm strong enough to overcome any challenge that I face. But it didn't always feel that way. That balance between effort and enjoyment, pain and purpose, took time to find. Let me explain. When I was younger, I joined the local swim team in what was my hometown of Easton, Pennsylvania. From kindergarten through freshman year, I swam year-round, and eventually, I became a solid competitive swimmer. But just as important as all the meets, ribbons, and trophies were the friendships I built along the way. In middle school, I decided to branch out and join the track and cross-country teams as well. I was drawn to them for a lot of the same reasons that I loved swimming. I would be surrounded by my friends in an atmosphere that was both familiar and enjoyable. At first, it was all about the fun, but somewhere along the way, my mentality shifted. I realized I didn't just love the friendships, I loved the work. The grind didn't scare me, it gave me purpose. So I began to lean into it, supported by the foundation of care and connection I had built with my teammates. It all felt like something worth doing, something that made me better. Then came my sophomore year, following a difficult and emotional move to Connecticut. I was in a new state, at a new school, surrounded by people I didn't know, in an environment that felt completely different from the one I'd grown up in. Still, I was determined to make the most of it, so I threw myself into cross country that fall, hoping for a great start to this new chapter of my life. On paper, the season went well. I ran solid times, improved as an athlete, and did everything that I thought I was supposed to do. But something was missing. I didn't feel the same care and connection that I had in Easton. The camaraderie I'd always loved, the thing that made sports feel like home, just wasn't there. Then came swim season. I figured I'd give things another shot, hoping that maybe this time everything would work out for the better. But halfway through the very first practice, I knew the spark was gone. The energy, the motivation, it just wasn't in me anymore. So I quit the team, and by the time spring had come around, I didn't even bother to run track. As hard as it was, though, that experience taught me something very important. I realized that trying hard isn't always enough. You can put in the effort, show up, do the workouts, but if there's no joy, no reason to smile through the pain, then it's hard to keep going. I needed the fun just as much as the effort. I needed both sides of that message that my dad had been telling me for years. And for the first time, I understood what it felt like when the balance was off. So when I came to Westminster for my junior year, I found myself with a choice. Would I continue running and swimming, staying with the sports that were once so important to me but had started to feel distant, or would I pivot to something new, something more popular and conventional? And once again, my dad's words echoed in my mind. Have fun and try your hardest. So I committed. I stuck with cross country, swim, and track, not out of habit, but with intention. And this time, things clicked. I found both parts of the equation, the work and the joy, the discipline and the pride, the grit and the grace. I met teammates who quickly became close friends, and coaches who pushed me to my limits, but left me feeling fulfilled. There was a rhythm to it, a sense of purpose that had been missing the year prior. And it was in the small, seemingly everyday moments, the kind that you don't really plan for, where I started to feel that message from my dad come alive. Moments like listening to questionable song choices while on long runs with my teammates, trying not to laugh while swimming laps at a joke that someone made during the 10 seconds we should have spent catching our breaths, or even getting proposed to mid-track workout. Those moments weren't always flashy, but they've meant everything to me. Because when I find myself in those instances where effort and enjoyment are in balance, I realize that I'm not just listening to my dad's words, I am living them. Now, that message doesn't just apply to sports anymore. It's how I approach my schoolwork, my relationships, and even moments of stress and uncertainty. I am always asking myself, am I trying my hardest? Am I still having fun? Truthfully, life sometimes leans more one way than the other. Sometimes we're trying so hard that we forget to enjoy it, and other times we're having a little too much fun and forget to try. But when I find the balance, when I live in the space where effort meets joy, that's where I feel the most like myself. So to my dad, thanks for the daily reminders. I will always value your message, no matter what life throws my way. And when I inevitably start to feel homesick next fall, maybe, just maybe, I'll respond to your texts. Maybe. And to everyone else listening, if you're stuck deciding between working hard and doing something that actually brings you joy, ask yourself, is there a way that you can do both? If yes, that's great. Keep doing your thing. If not, respectfully, you're doing it wrong. Because when you're able to have fun and try your hardest, you might just find that even the most painful of moments can turn out to be the most rewarding. Thank you.